Hey toy fans, Aaron here. Today I'm going to take a look at the ARC-170 or ARC-170, however you want to say it, but I'm calling it the ARC. This was released in 2005 as part of the Revenge of the Sith line, so let's head to the table and check this one out. And here's a look at that ARC-170 packaging. This was released in the Revenge of the Sith branding, so that got you that lava all over the place. Nice image of the vehicle, front and center, with Coruscant in the background. Top right corner, you got that nice Star Wars Revenge of the Sith logo. And on the other side, top left, you got the fighter name, and that it just has firing blaster cannons, which it's got a few more features, but that's what they listed here. On the top, you just got a side view of the fighter along with its Star Wars logo. Each side of the box is the same with kind of this overhead view of the fighter with the Star Wars logo on top. For the bottom, you got various role-playing accessories being shown that were available in the line at the time. On the back of the box, of course, you got all your features being shown off for the vehicle. Some bombs dropping off, a handle that flips out so you can hold it better. You're firing protons, you can fit an astromech in here, and that the wings open up. Top left side, you got a brief description about the vehicle. And then along the bottom, you got 5 other vehicles that were also released in the line. And looking at it out of the packaging, I mean, well, this is a sizable ship. Wingtip to wingtip, about 22 inches, and the same dimensions from the end of the gun at the back of the ship to the tip of the front. And just to help with some size representation, here's a look at it next to an X-Wing. This is the Power of the Force 2 version, so if any of you are familiar with that size, that gives you an idea of what this is. Overall, the design is very representative of what was seen in the movie, with one minor exception, and that's at the back end. It's pretty hard to complain about this, but there should be a gun not only at the top, but also at the bottom. You just get the one here. I don't know, to me that's relatively minor, especially when the rest of the ship is looking so good. As far as the sculpting to it, aside from these little various panels throughout the vehicle along the sides of the body and stuff, there's not much else to that. There's no weathering or anything else. But as far as that design, you know, it's, like I said, that's how it looked in the movie. It was rather smooth looking throughout the entire vehicle. So like I said, totally fine. It's looking how it should. What painting you do have through the vehicle, all this little burgundy that you're seeing along the sides of the front and the tips of the wing and at the front end of the engines, that painting is looking really good. It's all staying pretty much within the lines. You do have this little symbol painted at the front end on each side. I don't know what it means. Now the rest of the designs that you're seeing obviously are stickers that you applied, and the designs and graphics on those stickers are looking pretty good. I will say that this little front one keeps giving me problems because the sides of the sticker tends to just peel off. And so far, fingers crossed, it's been holding down for this video so far. But I gotta say, I'm amazed that I haven't lost that sticker yet. Continuing on though, the guns that are mounted on the bottom side of each wing, while large, again, that's how they looked in the movie. They might be a little bit bigger here, but it's really no big deal. My guess is they're probably a little bit larger because they do function. You have a little missile projectile that shoots out, and I'll show that off in a little bit. Through the engines, where you do have some parts exposed, you do have some nice sculpting going on there. Again, nothing overly detailed, but a pretty well represented sculpt, I think. The top sides of the wings has a little bit of sculpting going on, a little bit of bumps here and there, little ledges and stuff. That's looking good. The only thing I'd say is that these little bumps through here should be painted gray. Pretty minor, no big deal to me. Now the S-foils of the wings do open up, and unfortunately that's a manual process for you. You are the one who lifts those up. I do wish that, like the X-Wing, you had a little button that you could push and they would just pop down. But it doesn't, and you know, some of these are kind of troublesome for me to get to stay opened up. And actually I finally got it to stay. It took a pretty hard click to get it into place, but it's staying. You know, it looks cool when it's opened up, and I'm glad that they added the feature. But like I said, I really wish that was just a spring open panel that would do it on its own. Underneath that wing that opens up, a little bit of detailing in there, nothing major, and then just a snap to get those closed back into place. For the bottom side of the vehicle, gets a little wider down here. As you can see, you got some design elements down here, a little bit of different painting. This bottom part does open up and reveals a little handle to help with your playability. So once you got the handle out, like I said, you can hold on to it. It does have a little trigger button right here that'll open the bomb doors right here. And then when you're all done with that, just close it back up and close those doors. As far as that little bomb design goes, you get 2 of them. Nothing overly crazy with the design, but you know, looks like a cross between a missile and a small bomb, I guess. No special paint applications, just a dark gray, maybe brownish piece of plastic. And what the heck, since we're shooting things out, the missiles that I mentioned earlier that shoot out from the front, you got a little button right there. You just give that a push and it'll shoot out. Otherwise, you got this little gun that has a small rotation to it on the top. and that's the same for each side. At the front of the vehicle, you do have a little landing gear that you can pull out. Kind of an odd thing since it really sits even with the front of the vehicle, but all right, you got one. At the back of the vehicle, you got this little gun that I mentioned earlier. It does have a pretty good range of rotation to that. Nothing shoots out of it though, and then you can lift it up and down this far. As for the cockpit area, you do have a spot for 3 figures and a droid, so I guess really 4 in total. As you can see, droid opening right here at the top, and no problem sliding a figure in there. Give his head to turn so he faces the right way. And now going through the rest of the seating area, on this back position, you got this clear canopy. That opens up. No problem sliding your figure in there if you can reach around your camera. So your guy sits nicely into place. You can close that canopy. No problems with that. Inside that seated area, you got just minor bits of sculpting going on. Looks like maybe a little seat belt or something. But aside from that, nothing really happening in there worth mentioning. And for the front of the vehicle, you got room for 2 figures, both facing forward. Same here, plenty of space to get the figures in, and no problems keeping that canopy closed while the figures are in there. And here's a look inside the cockpit for each area. At that front spot, you got some stickers through here. Well, just one really, to kind of give you some design elements to the flight area, maybe a little screen or something. Aside from that, the detailing of the seat is looking the same as you had on the rear. For the side area of the cockpit, you do have these little indents through here. And then as you get to the back area, obviously another sticker. But for the most part, the sculpting is pretty much the same. You do have a little bit of a raised panel here to show off some features. The seat's the same here. And then also on the side of the cockpit, you do have just a little bit more going on. So overall, this is a great looking vehicle. As I mentioned earlier, I wish those wings popped up with a little action switch. But I guess you can't have everything, right? And then in years to come, this would get released in a few different versions. It had a tiger shark look to it, and also a shadow look. So same vehicle, just a couple different paint patterns to it. And so that wraps up this look at the ARC-170. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this vehicle in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.